Dude, I had an Amazon delivery driver sitting in the driveway of our shop for like 10 minutes. I'm just standing there looking at their van, waiting for them to get out so I can get the freaking package out. And finally, they just go to pull out, and I'm like, and I like throw my arms in the air. I'm like, what are you doing? And then I just hear, Randy, because that's the name on the box, my dad's name. Randy. I'm like, what? She's like, here you go, I got a package for you. Sorry, I didn't want to get out. I was afraid of the dog. I was like, so you just weren't going to deliver it? You're just going to drive away? Hilarious, dude. Got her fired.
Do you have some scary junkyard sandlot freaking dog running around that they were scared of?
We've got a dog that the only thing that's scary about her, first of all, she's a Chihuahua. The only thing that's scary about her is that she won't die. I don't think she can die. She eats the other dog's feces all day and refuses to die. And then the other dogs are not imposing. They're very stupid. Well, the other one's, the biggest dog is very stupid and not imposing and locked in a yard. And then the other dog I had with me, and I made her stay in the shop. So there was no dog out. She just like wasn't going to deliver the package. And yeah, like I said, I got her freaking fired, dude. I don't care. She told me, she's like, I've got 9 kids. I'm putting 3 of them through college. I said, good luck doing that without one of your 4 jobs. Rosa. Yeah. Idiots.
Hey, man, somebody's got to hold these people accountable, you know?
That's right.
Insane what they're doing.
That's right. You come into this country, you buy the gold card for $1 million, and you just deliver my packages. Just kidding, folks. Oh, my gosh.
Well, hello, and welcome to Grass Touchers, the show where the 3 of us pals celebrate reaching episode 69, talk about video games, what's going on in the news video games, and complain about how we don't have enough time to play video games. I am Jake.
I'm Jared.
I'm Greg.
Well, let's get started. How is it going for you, Jared?
It's going well. Actually, that's not true. Gaming-wise, it's going very horribly, but life is good.
Okay.
I'm so very blessed, very happy. I started playing Dota
We like
again.
this. Okay.
Excuse me. I started playing Dota again. Coughing to the mic. A couple weeks ago, a month ago, and ranked. My qualified ranked 4 ranks higher than I was when I stopped playing before.
Yeah.
Which is cool. And now I'm on an 11-game losing streak.
No.
An 11-game losing streak in a game where the matches take an average of like 45 minutes, by the way. So
That's so rough. That's so much like all that
place.
time you can't get back.
Bro, I'm in a very bad place right now. And
that coupled with our siege last night, I know we'll talk about that later. But
I almost ended it all last night. Yeah, I know. It was terrible. We tried to play last night, and then, we tried to play last night, and then I had one more match, and I lost it. I played a match last night, and I lost. And that made 11. And I'm going to be honest with you guys. This is going to sound like BS. It's not my fault. I honestly am playing pretty solid Dota. My team is just filled with people. And people nowadays, unfortunately, in our generation and in the generations that are preceding us, there's this thing that's like, it couldn't possibly be me. I'm not at fault. I'm not even thinking that it could be my fault, but I am waiting to see anything that convinces me that it's yours. And they just fire it off. And they'll do it.
Yep.
They will do it 10 minutes into a 45-minute match. Why are you doing that? We have to we have to play as a team for the next half hour, and you're starting things off by insulting. I mean, it's never, hey, can you do this? Hey, please, can you do this? I mean, sometimes it's that, but it inevitably devolves. But often it's, are you fucking retarded? What's the matter with you? How did you fail? How did you manage to blow that. And it's like, come on, bro.
Yes, dude.
Even
it reminds me of when we played that match on Clubhouse when Greg was still like new.
I was
to Siege.
literally gonna say those are the next words out of my mouth. Yeah.
I have this fear in the back of my head that, luckily they made it so that during the prep phase defenders can't injure each other. But it used to be that if you reinforce something that somebody else believed was, tantamount to the apocalypse for you to reinforce that, they would just shoot you in the back of the head, or they would obviously go into blast mode on the microphone and absolutely roast you and say that you're retarded. And it's like, there's more than one way to play the game. Shut up, and I just... Yeah.
But it's just what's amazing to me and what scares me the most is that the short-sightedness of that. First of all, you're getting into ranked, which the pretense is I want to win and I care about this.
Yeah,
because if it wasn't,
I want to get better.
I
want to be graded against other people. Like I would like to be competitive and win.
Is there a casual unranked mode to Dota?
Absolutely, and it's almost better because people care less, so there's less bickering. But you jumped into ranked. These people go in and they're like, "This is ranked. I want to play well. I want to, like you're saying, I want to be scrutinized, and I want to see where I stand, and I want to win." Because in the immortal words of Herm Edwards, you play to win the game.
Yeah.
And 10 minutes in, how somebody could think that it would be beneficial at all to themselves, not even, God forbid somebody think about the greater good of the team. That's ridiculous. But
teamwork, are you kidding me? Yeah.
if you and your tiny little dick can just focus on the fact that if you start insulting everybody on the team, it's going to cause a problem, and then we're going to start infighting, and then we're going to lose.
I got to spend it's 10 minutes into the match. I got to spend the next 30, 35 minutes with you, no matter how this goes. So don't poison the well immediately, please.
Speak your mind. I have no problem somebody chiming in being like, "Hey, we need a gank on bottom. Hey, please gank bottom. Please, we're getting killed down here. Please." Yeah. So it's just really, really annoying, man. It makes me so mad because I seriously am playing. Okay, I've ranked down twice already because the game has I know this is going to be weird for you guys because you guys play Siege. It has an actual ranking system that has dynamic to where if you lose and lose and lose and lose and lose, it becomes exponential. It's not just this linear, incremental a game where you're just playing Pong with silver and bronze for 3 months straight. It's like
minus 24 every time you lose, plus 17 every time you win. That's what it feels like at this point.
Yeah, it's not like that. So the game is seeing me lose 11 times in a row, and it's like, dude, you're ranking down. You're and you're ranking down. It's hurting my feelings, and so that's been pretty. That's been pretty whack. I'm not going to get into my other gaming. I still want to buy Fatal Fury. I haven't got it yet. But yeah,
what is that?
Fatal Fury is kind of the newest fighting game on the block. It's an SNK title. The original Fatal Fury was made 20 years ago, but this one, the Saudis own SNK, and they've just announced a $2.5 million prize pool for the big Fatal Fury tournament, which is huge.
They're pulling a live golf.
They're pulling a live golf.
Yeah,
and they've got a good product. And
$2.5 million is like pocket change for those guys, though.
Oh, yeah, that's a Tuesday night bar tab for those guys. Yeah. You go eat at one restaurant. You drop $2.5 million.
Go eat at old Punjabi's house, and
they dropped 2.5 at the freaking Ralph Lauren Polo outlet store. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
You guys feel
their car's worth double that? Are you
kidding? Right.
Nothing. It was nothing.
So, yeah, that's where I'm at. I still love Dota. It's a game that I continue to come back to, even though I've lost 11 in a row. And honestly, it's better than the Siege experience solo. I'll say that. I enjoy playing Siege with you guys.
Sure.
A game that I loathe, but I'll play with you guys because it's fun to hang. But I will not play Siege solo. That is a the meat grinder torture experience that I don't like to subject myself to anymore. You're gonna have to edit a lot of that out. I'm sorry, but that is a. Whoa, folks! Welcome back to the unedited version, episode 69 of Grass Toucher, talking about putting our in a meat grinder.
Well, I hate that you're having such a bad time of it, but I tell you, it's more reason for us to go on an adventure together in the sand dunes of Arrakis. And that day is coming. I couldn't agree more with your assessment of what it's like to play with humans in a competitive teamwork environment. It's like just awful.
It's awful.
Yeah,
man.
MMO.
Really
What could go wrong? People aren't notoriously.
Nothing could possibly go wrong in an MMO.
Dude, you know what I saw? I saw an ad for the old school WoW the other day.
Oh, right.
I still am attracted to that experience. There's something in me that I'm like, oh, you can play free up until level 30. Like, I kind of want to do that, but I won't.
Yeah.
It's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
There's still something there though. There's an allure.
Is it the way it looks, do you think? Is it a nostalgia berry, just sort of that you just want to pluck out and like, ooh, let me have some of that?
My progression addiction.
Yes.
Like getting in and like there's something that's attractive to me about a fresh build. That's one of the reasons why I love RimWorld so much, is that sometimes I'll just start a new colony and just be like, cool, let's see if I get it right this time. And I never do.
Right.
But there's still something really, really addicting about that loop. It's like, maybe I can get to a point where I can unlock freaking missile launchers this time. And just
That's like Civ. Civ is like that for me sometimes. I'll go through a little spell for like a month where I do one or two Civ games in a month because I try to let them play out, to the end until I get nukes and killer robots, and I'm just like stomping all over the world with superior technology. The Aztecs and Mayans are next door, like, please don't. And I'm like, I'm gonna.
Yeah.
It's just so good because it's been a long time coming. It's been a long build, all the way up to the sort of post game thing. It's like, oh man, it's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel you. Dag, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm really good. I will say on that WoW note, for me, the nostalgia of that is like a few years ago, I don't know how many years ago, 7, 8 years ago, they came out with WoW Classic, which was the original iteration of the game up until when the first expansion came out. Exactly the way it was. And being that like progression file that you are, the original game to get to max level was like, it was a slog. Like it was like 2 or 3 days of playtime, like 70 to 80 hours of playtime for you to get max level. Right now in WoW, you can get max level in like 10 hours, like 10 hours.
You can just buy it, can't you?
Really?
Yeah, and you can pay for it now. You can pay for a max level up. You can, it's kind of,
that's so lame. I hate that. Ugh.
but they still offer the WoW Classic server, which doesn't have the max level pay thing. Like you have.
Do you mean that you can pay like through Blizzard, like in the game client, you can just buy a max level character?
Yes.
That's so whack. I mean, I guess what they did was they took it out of the hands of the homies on the gray web, right?
Yeah,
like that was already a service that was all over the internet. I remember you talked about that being a thing, Greg. That was, people would build accounts because they would kind of figure out the short. Yeah, Tyler, exactly.
Was he selling accounts?
Oh, he used to. All that to say, there is something like I kind of share that that progression file thing, like where you want to get the next upgrade or whatever. And in classic WoW, before the first expansion and through the first 2 expansions, which is kind of like the height of that game, it was very rewarding, right? It was very rewarding to get the next, set of bracers or gloves or boots or the best new weapon, and those things took you a very long time to get. But now there's so many options to get high level gear in that game. It's not as that whole progression thing's not as rewarding. But for games, for me, Siege, and played a little PUBG the last week. I enjoyed it. I know that it kind of wore on Jake a little bit, but I enjoyed it for sure, and probably will play a little more with Tyler here and there.
I think the reason it wore on me, for the record, was when we attempted to play big boy PUBG in not casual mode, where we could play on maps that are not Erangel, and we played against people that have no life and are max prestige, max level, and Chinese hackers, and just the not casual mode was frustrating, especially that night. I don't know for what reason, what possible reason, but we were matched up with a guy in Australia on our team, which was cool and all. He was super nice, and he was like, Aussie, yeah, I'm from Australia. He was being very chill. We talked about American politics for a little while. It was weird. And then we went up against, Xi Jinping and all of his homies, and they were like mortaring us when we were hidden like on a hilltop and behind trees where they should not have been able to see us, and they shot mortars like right at our tippy toes, and it was like, that's not. Anyway, it was stupid.
Yeah, that was.
I like the game loop of PUBG, and I have enjoyed playing it as a group.
Yeah, and so that was fun. Siege has been fun, even in the bad moments. It's still really fun and really rewarding. But to Jared's point, only playing with you guys. I mean, I will never. Probably ever solo queue that game unless I decide,
Right.
The only scenario I could see is like Cjax comes out, I get the bug again, and I start looking at map layouts while I'm taking a dump at school, and as one does, and I get really really into it, but that's fun. Claire Obscure is still great. Haven't
You
beat
putting
it
some
yet.
more on that?
Not a lot of time, but I'm going to this now that I'm, we don't have kids at school anymore. And so I come home and I'm not quite as drained,
Right.
And so that's cool. Looking forward to Dune. That'll be cool.
Yes, dude.
And then I've got my backlog.
Yeah.
And I will say, just real quick before I pass it over to Jake, let me tell you the five. Now, I'm still going to try and go through this alphabetically because that makes the most sense. But the 5 games I'm most looking forward to playing from my Steam library that I have not played. I really want to finish Baldur's Gate 3. Like, I really want to beat that game.
Dude, right?
Just the story
I got to get back to that.
It's a great game. I really want to play Cyberpunk 2077. And Dark Souls 3, I really want to play. And then Mass Effect Legendary Edition. Probably not going to beat all 3 this year, but definitely want to do Mass Effect Legendary Edition.
Yes, dude.
And then the Star Wars Fallen Order and Jedi Survivor games. Those just look really, really cool. Yeah, so that's kind of what I'm thinking I'll get into this summer maybe. Who knows? Maybe I'll just, instead of doing alphabetically, I'll just play like what I want to play.
Yeah, don't limit yourself, right? Now's the time. Freaking summer break. Rock on, dude.
Well, because like Assassin's Creed 3 Remastered, I got whenever I bought Odyssey like a year ago. It came with it, and that game is like known as not being a very good game. And so, there's that. But yeah.
When you get to, remember I said when you get to Cyberpunk, I kind of wanted to revisit that one too. If you think you're going to put some time on that one, like for maybe like 1 week or something, tell me and I'll try to come up for air out of Dune Awakening and play that like concurrently with you because I like that. Yeah. I like the idea of coming back to that one.
Speaking of, I don't know if there's anything that Jake is particularly excited about in the next week or so in gaming.
No, not at all.
But what's going on with you, Jake?
Why on earth would I possibly? PUBG and Siege, it's time with the boys, and that's never wasted, right? Nothing's wasted when it's with your homies. But I think the absolute drive I have toward Dune Awakening is like, I don't want to be a hype beast. I don't want to be disappointed, but I loved the beta so much. I'm pretty freaking sure I'm not gonna be disappointed. Like I've already, got my feet wet and really enjoyed it. So that coming out on Tuesday is going to be pretty rad. I have a big work project where we're doing a major upgrade of some software, and it's going to require me to really focus up and like hand jam just a bunch of stuff, and it's going to be busy work for like 3 weeks straight. And so when I come home, I'm definitely going to want to do something where I can, decompress. And I've got my buddy from work that we played Siege with that time. He's going to play it too. So we're going to try to get on the same server and and crack that open. So this time next week, I'll probably have an update for my first, little few hours with. I'm not like pre-ordering or anything. I'm just gonna wait. So, I will update you on that next week. It's incredibly exciting, and the sort of news of the week has been pretty cool. We'll just jump right into that because I've just been playing freaking shooter games with the homies. Really, we've got a little footage from the Unreal Engine 5 update. Unreal did a video conference thing. They had CD Projekt Red do a preview of The Witcher 4 using their latest Unreal Engine that they're using the SDK for and developing stuff. Supposedly, the footage that we saw was a vanilla, not pro PS5, and the game was a buttery 60 frames per second. And their whole goal with some of the technology that they unveiled was that they're trying to make it so that kind of quote unquote aging hardware can stay relevant for longer. And I think that's really important because there's so many people that are really slow to buy into new graphics cards, as they should be, right? Speaking for the PC community, I know Jared's in the middle of a build, or planning to be in the middle of a build. Yeah. There's no good way to get a workhorse graphics card. You're not getting the flagship graphics card. You're just not if you want to pay anything close to MSRP right now. Now there's some budget cards that are still really great. And that's their goal, right? Is whether it's a PS5 or whether it's the new Xbox when it comes, or of course the Switch 2, which is coming out tonight at midnight, I think. There's a desire from the gaming community, don't make me build a $50, $80, $3,000 computer build just so I can play a maxed out game. Make it look good, but more importantly, let it be something new and innovative. And that's something that they showed in this video. I don't know if you guys saw it, but it's pretty cool. They have some new ways of rendering things at a distance. You know how pop-in is the most immersion-breaking, lame thing, right? In an open-world game. Yeah. They talked about how instead of rendering pixels, they're rendering voxels, which are cubes. Think Minecraft, right? One cube in Minecraft is a voxel. And by making it a voxel, when you zoom out, it's less taxing on the hardware. Not to mention all the cards have tensor cores and AI chips in them, so they're leveraging that. And they showed how they can do animation. Instead of you having to put on a whole mocap suit with all the little ping pong balls all over you, you can just use a camera, and then AI will sort of map your body, and you can just do facial animation using a camera. And as long as it's a reasonably high def camera, you'll get pretty good low latency live mapped onto a 3D model. You talk over here and the model moves over here with a few milliseconds delay. It was pretty incredible technology. So that was very cool. It occurred to me, I never played The Witcher 3, which was industry ravaging good. Yeah, everybody was all over it at the time. Yeah, Game of the Year stuff, and it was a big ol' hit. And so they showed some supposedly live footage from a PS5. I thought it was pretty cool. Did you guys see this at all? Did you see any headlines or see the footage at all?
I did. It was very good.
Deg did. I know Deg did because he just told me.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, go ahead, sorry.
What did you think, Greg?
It looked very cool, man.
It looked very cool what they're doing with the voxels.
It looked next gen. I have a thought on this just really quickly, that a frustration that we talked last night when we were playing Siege about my frustration with comments in the comment section. And I saw one today that was they unveiled Nintendo unveiled the Switch 2 footage of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. And it looks way better because it's running in 60 frames per second, and it just looks a lot better, right? A lot smoother, a lot sharper.
Sure.
And it was just littered with these comments from these neckbeard, fucking broside and doucheronis commenting about, look, glad Nintendo finally joined us in 2017. Hurt. Like you're a
yes. Yes. I know.
Get over yourself. Not everything has to be about graphical fidelity. Nintendo is Nintendo because their games are fun, not because they look amazing.
Right. It's Pokemon. It's literally Pokemon.
Yeah, it's literally Pokemon. And even IGN posted this article that's LOL, Nintendo thinks they're doing something revolutionary. The game's going to suck like it did when it was originally released. It's like, you're part of the problem too, IGN. First of all, your reviews suck. You rate,
IGN's so dead.
You rate anything that you get a kickback from really high. Sorry, you do.
Oh, yeah.
And anything that's actually of substance that doesn't, that's not actively contributing to your staff writers or to your champagne fund, you give a 7 out of 10, even though it's probably game of the year. So, sorry, that was my IGN tangent, but
no, you're good. Get them, dude. The 1% of the 1% should not be reviewing games. Yeah, get them, dude.
Yeah, no, exactly. And like it's just very frustrating. Because that's what when I watched that a little bit of it again today for the Witcher 4. That was what I was kind of thinking is like the people that comment and stuff and that are all about graphical fidelity, they're gonna think this game is the next best thing just because it looks good. And,
right.
And it might not be that good. I know that CD Projekt Red has never fumbled a major release ever, but you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just frustrating.
No, I do. So I'll tell you what was sort of heartening about that whole video was outside of that video and that press conference and that teaser, there's some articles and some interviews that have also dropped, and they talked about game design and what direction they're trying to go with The Witcher 4. And I'm going to paraphrase because I don't have the article in front of me, but I read it earlier today. They talked about the difference between, like, guiding a player with, like, actual guardrails that are kind of boring and dumb and immersion breaking, and then suggesting to the player and still giving them latitude to do what they want. They will probably end up on the critical path, but they could go anywhere, and your suggestions are, as a game developer, sort of light, right? And I think that's a really integral part of good game design to me. Think of Baldur's Gate 3, right? You could do a bazillion different run-throughs of that game, and they truly would end up, different. I forget how many endings to that game there are. I've read about them. I haven't actually done them because I still need to finish Baldur's Gate 3, to your previous point. There's game design there and level design there that is incredibly, like, open-ended, but you never feel like it's boring. There's always something to do. There's, like, incredible sort of choices and paths and directions you can go. What they talked about with The Witcher 4 is they used the example of yellow paint on climbable surfaces, right? Like, that's dumb. And that is a big old flag that, like, insults your intelligence. Like, hey, over here, dumbass, this is the way to go. And so in The Witcher 4, because of some of this new technology, they're able to provide way more seamless interactions with NPCs, cutscenes that are fluid and look like gameplay, and gameplay that looks like cutscenes. And they can render more people on. They, like, zoomed out in the teaser at one point to show, like, all the NPCs that were, like, mulling around town. And they had, like, a dude on crutches, and they had a dude that was getting thrown out of a bar, and they had the person that was playing the game supposedly was like purposefully, like, running into people, kind of Assassin's Creed style. There was this, like, dynamic, like, pushing your way through the crowd sort of thing. Yeah. So what was heartening about it was that they are trying to use this newfound power to not just put more polygons on the screen, but to make gameplay more engaging or immersive or ingenious or innovative. At least that's what they say. If it's the sort of game where there's an open world and when you press M to pull up the map, there's just a bazillion icons everywhere of stuff to go do, that would be lame, right? Like, Ubisoft called it once its 2010 game design back. That's not okay anymore. You got to do better than that. And if there's climbable surfaces that are painted yellow, then, like, get out of here. But that's what they're saying, is that this technology should make it so that they can rapidly iterate and develop using modern practices that aren't so just blatant and, like, silly. So we shall see. Speaking of that, any updates on your PC build, Jared? Are you picking out any parts to save up for yet?
No, it's tabled right now. Truly, I have not even looked at it. It's just it's a money thing, and I want to do it for real when I do it. So, like, I don't want to.
Yeah, dude.
No half measures. No compromises.
Oh yeah.
So when the time comes, and that's the other thing. It's kind of torture for me. And it's a torture,
yeah, right?
And I really don't like wasting my own time. That's not like shade towards anyone who likes to tinker and like preview their builds, but I just know that when the time comes that I'm actually able to buy it, it's gonna take me like 3 days of like specific shopping to kind of get the prices down and then go from there. Even if I want to like find deals on eBay or something, I just know that so quickly it could change. Something could get released that's just like, hey, this is the one you should have, and then it warps my whole build, and I can't do it. I can't do it.
Yeah, no, you're right.
It
it's tough.
makes me too nervous.
There was I got bored and sort of zoned out during my lunch break today, and I got on PC Part Picker for I think the second time. I like vicariously sort of like built a computer. Like, I wonder if Jared could build something like this, and what would it cost him? And there's like 50 70s that are like $649 right now. Okay. Those supposedly beat the pants off of my 3070, which is also still totally competent. The 3070 is like, other than the 3060 or certain 10 series cards that are still in circulation, it's like one of the better performance per dollar kind of cards. And so that 70 series is like always what I'm eyeballing.
Right.
But I was like, dang, $650 or so for, a full size, not TI, not super, not crazy graphics card. Just like kind of tough, man. I kind of thought they would come down by now, but
yeah. I
might
go Radeon too. I know we talked about that.
You certainly could. AMD's got those offerings out there right now. I mean, my buddy at work who we played with that time, he recommended a build on PC Part Picker for somebody. It was all AMD. The card and the motherboard and the CPU was all AMD, and he said it came out great for like $1,500, and supposedly it's a real beast-a-roni.
Yeah, might be the way to go for me. At least if until GPUs come down a little bit, they're like way overpriced. It's crazy.
Right. And AMD's a lot better when it comes to monitor support. If you're going to get a monitor too, FreeSync is like kind of open source and easier to find included on monitors, whereas G-Sync Premium GTX monitor enabled or whatever is like, kind of a joke, and it's these ultra premium monitors that are overpriced. So. Well, the other thing in gaming news I wanted to make sure we talk about before we wrap is 007. Okay. You better believe I'm putting that stinger in the podcast. I'm going to make a note right now. Insert 007 high notes, please. There is an absolute infatuation that is in my past, my video gaming lineage. Infatuation with 007 games. I have played a number of them, not every single one, but a number of them, and I can picture in that history some really high points and some lower points, and I'm cautiously optimistic because this game looks really cool. It's by IO Interactive. It's called 007 First Light, and it functions as a prequel, like when James Bond first was like out of the Navy and being eyed by MI6, and then they like brought him into the program, and it seems like what you play through in the game is like, I don't know, training missions and initiation, sort of like trial run stuff. So I have for us this evening, I'll be sharing my screen right now, the First Light, First Look. Let me know when you got that up, boys.
Yep. Watching.
All right, here you go. Yeah, dude.
That's kind of cool.
That's James Bond, brother. You know what I mean? I mean,
dude.
They kind of hit they hit all the notes. You know what I mean? I think there was all this, the drama, the sort of silliness of it, the set pieces and the fireworks and the laser watch and every bit of that. I can think of a Bond game in the past that they're kind of echoing, and the movies that they're echoing.
So it looks like he found himself in some James Bondage at the end there. You know what I'm saying?
He just did, with the freaking gators, dude. There was a apprehension I had at first when I saw his stupid smirk on his face. It looks like he's got this, eating grin. But thoughts, ready, go, off the cuff, preview, go.
I liked it.
Looks like a Hitman game to me.
It does. 100%.
I got a bunch of cold chills watching it. Just the music and the atmosphere and the like you said, the shtick of the whole James Bond thing. There's there's something you expect with anything that comes from that franchise, right? And
Yes.
As serious as they've tried to make James Bond, especially with like the Daniel Craig movies, right?
Yeah.
There's that shtick that just it's fun. Kind of
Yes,
like the Indiana Jones game that came out recently that I still really want to play. The Indiana Jones.
I
Great
know.
Circle.
I thought the exact same thing. Right? Take everything about that franchise, the set pieces, the shtick, and like capture it in gameplay so that you feel like you're immersed into that, world. And we all conceive of that world differently in our heads based on which movies we've seen or which previous games we've played or whether you've, listened to the soundtrack and touched yourself like I have in the case of James Bond. But there's a
Wow. Okay.
but there's a
Jake was touching himself that entire preview just now while we were
I
Betrayal of my...
can neither confirm nor deny. There's a real potential for this game to grab me by the I'm saying it's gonna be
Oh my gosh.
it's gonna be
little
something.
2016 throwback, man. Tell you what.
These girls will
Yeah,
tell you, they let you do whatever they want.
They let you do whatever they
walk
want.
right up, you can say you're James
If
Bond.
you-
can grab right
If you can't get your in the new James Bond game, I'm writing my congressman. I think
If there's no hot coffee mod in the new James Bond game.
yeah, dude. I think there's the fact that he's walking into MI6, he hasn't even earned his number yet or whatever, and he's like head hunting. You know what I'm saying, girl? I'm hunting for some.
Yeah, I did.
You know what I'm saying, girl?
That as well. I was like, interesting choice of words.
I literally am trying to get my right
If
now.
you know what I mean.
I don't know
Do
if you know this,
you?
but I'm James Bond. You know what I mean? You know what I
Please?
mean? It's part of the whole thing. I'm James Bond. You're supposed to like
Yeah. So,
it looked like there's driving sequences. Do you guys? We'll get into like what's your favorite Bond game, what's your favorite Bond movie, but there's driving sequences in some of those games that are just as fun as any of the gunplay and sneaking around. Like the whole car thing, the Porsche thing, the Aston Martin thing is like totally baked into Bond, And so I don't know if you guys caught the driving sequences they showed. I got hard on just for that, man.
oh my god.
It kind of reminded me. Like, I'm not usually a big fan of like on rails driving sequences in games.
Right.
But one game that does it masterfully is Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain. There are several like horseback sequences in that game where you're getting chased, and it feels like it's not on rails. Like it's just so immersive. It's totally on rails. Like the same thing happens every time, but
Right.
it doesn't feel that way because of the immersion. And it kind of, what I hope is that those sequences have like different shortcuts you can take and like other ways you can accomplish the mission. Maybe you can
If it's
drive through a
anything-
warehouse and take a shortcut,
If it is anything like a Hitman game, you should absolutely expect that, right? Lots of different ways to conclude an objective or a mission. What'll be really cool is if they have branching paths which make the next mission different. I don't know if it's fair to expect that just yet. It's kind of like what we were saying about this Unreal Engine update and in Witcher 4. How much of this is graphical fidelity or explosions or nightclub sequences or being strung up and alligators are below you, and how much of it is actual innovative gameplay and dynamism. That would be cool if they did that, because that's something that the Hitman games do pretty well. But yeah, big fan. So, favorite Bond game from years past? Ready, set, go.
GoldenEye for the nostalgia mostly. Playing that game in 2020, I think I played it randomly like 2 or 3 years ago. I don't know what situation I was in where I played GoldenEye. I don't remember if I emulated it or something, but
Really?
but I played like a little bit of it, and I watched a video recently of someone doing like an HD kind of reskinned version. It was like a fan remake of like the first or second level facility, which was like the second level, which was like the kind of the most famous one. But yeah, probably GoldenEye. I played, was it Nightfire? was a good game.
Yeah, Nightfire was one. Yeah,
but probably GoldenEye.
the real ones will know Nightfire. How about you, Jared? What Bond games have you played at all, and what do you remember enjoying?
We played a lot of Agent Under Fire on GameCube as a kid because you could do bot matches.
Yeah,
And there was also a mechanic on there, a grappling hook claw.
Mm-hmm.
It is hilarious. You just and it just grabs onto the wall, and it's like very stupid. But it made for it was just a very good time. You do all explosives, all rockets, and everyone's zip lining around the map. Very good times had on that one. But other than that, I mean, the Bond games for me have always been like, the paradigm has shifted in the past probably decade where it's like they take a development first, studio first approach to making these licensed games, whereas back in the day it was always, how do we make this licensed thing, this franchise into a game, and it was kind of they were putting a game into a franchise box, and now they're kind of putting the franchise into a game box, which is what you want to see. I'll need to see more from this game to like be hype on it. Truthfully, I don't know if I like the guy they chose to be Bond.
You're talking about the character, and what he looks like. Yeah,
like I feel like they would have been better served to like, they're going to make another Bond series. Why not just wait for like Idris Elba to be the Bond or whatever, and then they just make the game after him? It would have.
That's a good point. The timing is funny, and there's some family that owns like Sir Ian Fleming's IP, right? The Bond stuff. It's all up to them what movies are licensed and greenlit, and what games are allowed to be made. Like there's a family that owns that property. I don't know if it was left to them or if they acquired it or what, but I'm sure there's some article you can go read about that. But I think that probably has something to do with it as far as when the game started development. It started development a long time ago. I remember seeing articles about it and teasers forever ago, but this is the first time it's kind of come up, out of the surface there. There's a clear kind of line that I would draw where it's like, isn't there a new Bond generation getting spun up right now? Wouldn't you want to make it sort of be? But if their goal is to do a prequel thing, then they can do whatever they want, I guess, right? Because to my knowledge, there's not a movie that's covered like, well, how did he get into MI6? Like, what does that look like?
Right.
I didn't realize, get a load of this, the first Bond game was on the platform Atari 2600. And, of course, all the way up to current gen, because there's been just a litany of Bond games. The first actual licensed one was in 1983. Parker Brothers released the first officially licensed James Bond video game.
Wait, of Monopoly fame?
Yeah, dude. Of Parker Brothers. Isn't that wild? Back when video games were just looked at as an extension of other home entertainment, like a board game. Yeah, Parker Brothers was like, make a video game. Why not? And then since then, there's been lots of others. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna try not to overdo it, but I remember, GoldenEye for sure. Right, the first time you went to a buddy's house and played GoldenEye was like game changing. Right, the screen sniping and sort of split screen stuff was like tough to beat. I actually played Tomorrow Never Dies and The World Is Not Enough even more because my neighbor in Tucson, my neighbor's mom worked for Nintendo. She would like go around to the Walmarts and like deliver the Rumble packs and the expansion packs and the video games. And she was like I don't know if she was in the distribution chain or what, but she like worked for Nintendo. And so she was like, hey, do you need an expansion pack for your N64? Do you not have one? I was like, no, I don't have one. And she was like, well, come over. I'll give you one. And she like went into her garage and opened up a box that was full of packaged expansion packs. And I was like, this rocks. Like, what is, how are you allowed to do this? Maybe I should have washed my but she was the nicest lady. Shout out to Miss Sipe over there, my neighbor in Tucson. There was a time where her son was like done playing GoldenEye, and then he would let me use it, and then he would be done playing The World Is Not Enough, and he would give it to me, and so I just got games like coming out of my ears.
Dang.
So The World Is Not Enough on N64. And then Agent Under Fire, Nightfire. But here's the real one for me. Call me crazy, but Everything or Nothing was a third-person James Bond game that came out. I played on the GameCube. It was out on all the other consoles too, but it was on GameCube for me, of course. Super radical, very like pre-Uncharted third-person action game. Driving sequences, fully voiced and mocapped. Willem Dafoe plays the bad guy and nails it. Heidi Klum plays the love interest and nails it with her, polygonal boobies. And Pierce Brosnan does the Bond, and it rocks. Like, it's so. This is a Hollywood movie in my living room on my GameCube right now. This is so cool. And of course, to me, it looked like real life at the time, because your brain's filling in the gaps in 2004. So I played that one a lot, and I replayed a bunch of the levels to get the high score. And the story, there was a ton of missions. It was sort of long as those games went at that time. And there was nanotechnology. That was like the big sort of like the big bad guy move was nanobots. It was so action movie. It was so cool. After that, there was games like From Russia with Love, which I skipped. Quantum of Solace had a video game tie-in. I don't think I played it. And then the GoldenEye 007 Reloaded game. That was 2010. And then there was kind of nothing. After 2012, a game called 007 Legends came out for PS3 and 360 and Wii U. And there was just a bunch of different levels of single-player campaign from each of the 6 actors' eras. There was like Goldfinger and Moonraker and License to Kill and Die Another Day and Skyfall. Like they sort of tread across all the different eras. It's interesting, but I
Love game too.
Didn't play it. Yeah, Rush with Love. Yeah, it was 05, that one. So 2012 was the last time an officially licensed Big Bond game came out. So for this one to be coming out so much later is pretty cool, and I hope that they knock it out, man. It's going to be very radical. Any favorite Bond movies? Anybody give particular about Bond movies?
The Daniel Craig movies are all pretty darn good in my book. I watched GoldenEye
Concur.
last year. Very fun movie, dude.
Yes.
Very fun movie. Famke Jensen's in there acting like a freaking turbo freakazoid.
We've talked about this before, but everybody has like their Bond that they remember from growing up. I remember I said mine was Pierce Brosnan.
Yeah.
And then
Same.
we talked about Jared being madly in love with what's her name from the Bond movies.
Who?
I made an Instagram post about it. Let's see.
I was madly in love with. Dang, who was I? I think I vaguely remember.
Dude,
us
Halle
talking
Berry
about that.
in that the whatchamacallit, Live or Let Die. Halle Berry and Live or Let Die. Was it Live or Let Die?
Christmas Jones, Jared.
Oh, yeah.
Freaking Christmas Jones, dude. Yeah.
Not Live
This
or Let
is
Die.
this is the cover art that I put for that episode release. I did
Die Another Day was what I was thinking about.
Oh yeah, Die Another Day. I did a sweet MS Paint freaking Photoshop job there and I memed on Jared there. Yeah, Pierce Brosnan for some reason is my Bond just because of the first movies I saw, but all the Daniel Craig movies kind of slap. I remember Skyfall being my standout because Adele did the theme.
Skyfall.
Yeah.
And for the record,
And then-
I wasn't
That's
in
very
love
good.
with Denise Richards. I just thought
Okay.
Christmas Jones was very funny. I mean, Denise Richards was a great looking lady, but
Right.
I mean, come on, guys, you know me. Me and Denise would never work out.
I think I agree.
It's a ridiculous thing to say.
I love
materialistic for me, man.
I love the music in James Bond movies to like an uncool degree. It's extremely lame to watch a Bond movie with me because I just hit you on the shoulder every time there's a high note on the trumpet.
I've been there. too.
But it's probably part of the reason I chose trumpet in band in 5th grade was like ba-da, ba-da, ba-da-da, and
Chris
there's all
Cornell
these
did
scenes
one of
that
the
are
Bond
just so
songs
good.
too, before he killed himself, of course.
Are you for real?
Yeah, I think he did.
You could
Pretty
be pulling my
possible.
leg and I wouldn't know.
I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm pretty sure he did. He did one of them. If it wasn't the actual beginning song, I'm gonna look
You
it up
Know
right
My
now.
Name is the theme song of the '06 James Bond film Casino Royale, Daniel Craig's first, performed by American musician Chris Cornell, who wrote it and produced it jointly with David Arnold, the film's composer.
American musical composer.
It was not included in the Casino Royale soundtrack, but it appeared on his second solo album, Carry On.
Dang.
And then, ironically,
He
Chris
couldn't-
Cornell did not carry
he couldn't
on.
carry on because he was too busy killing himself.
I need to get in an audio editor and do a
The Black Hole
the
song
price
thing?
the Price is Right.
Oh.
Bum bum ba bum boom.
For me, Bond movies. When I was probably like 8 or 9, my mom, we were at the beach and it was on vacation and it was thunderstorming like the whole week. And so my mom took us to Walmart and like let us buy as many VHS movies as we wanted because we couldn't go out on the beach. And
That rocks. What a
yeah.
mom. Goodness
Oh, yeah.
gracious.
And they had a VHS collection of all of the James Bond movies that had been out to that point. And
Yes, dude.
she bought it for us. And so we watched, starting with the very first one, Dr. No with Sean Connery, all the way to GoldenEye, which was the most recently released at that point, was GoldenEye. And I really liked, I remember from watching that, I really liked The Spy Who Loved Me. Goldfinger, Man with a Golden Gun is a good one. But probably my favorite is Skyfall. Skyfall is legitimately the best James Bond movie. I mean, like,
It's
it is,
extremely good.
it's a very good movie. Quantum of Solace, I think, is kind of dooky. Spectre is really good. So yeah, like a lot of those. And to me, Pierce Brosnan is my Bond because that's who was Bond when I was a kid. You know,
Right.
And
Right.
he just nails Bond, dude. Like, he's just so good.
I agree.
Yeah. Yeah.
Those eyes. Gosh.
Dude, you guys ever see that movie, The Thomas Crown Affair?
No.
With what's his nuts from Mission Impossible?
No. It's Pierce Brosnan.
Is it?
Yeah. This is a freaking movie, but it's
I thought Tom
stupid.
Cruise was in that movie.
No, Tom Cruise was probably too busy doing like Vanilla Sky or something. Let me see.
Sure
Dennis
is Pierce
Leary,
Brosnan.
Pierce
Thomas Crown
Brosnan.
Affair, and then that broad, and then you see
Rene Russo.
Let me tell you something. You see a whole lot of Rene Russo in that movie.
Oh, ruh-roh.
Yeah,
Heads up.
it's just such a
Rene-
good movie.
Raggy is Rene Russo.
Ruh-roh, Reggie. I just saw Renee Rubin.
Dude, it freaking is such a dumb movie, though. You should watch it sometime with your wives because it's so stupid. And it's like at one point they just are like, I mean, Pierce Brosnan's great. I love Pierce Brosnan.
Yeah.
Rene Russo is not a very good actress in my opinion, and she's just they just go back and forth until they finally just start hooking up. But it's like there's like this 1.5 minute long scene of them like crawling around on the floor and like having sex all over the house. And
gosh.
just like sweaty and like gross and like pouring water on each other and like
Oh my
and just like
gosh.
cat to like borderline rape things going on. It's like very aggressive and just such a stupid movie. You should check it out, man.
It's got Pierce Brosnan written all over it.
Dude, it is
The synopsis alone, like back of the VHS cover says, a very rich and successful playboy amuses himself by stealing artwork, but may have met his match in a seductive detective. And it's like,
That's a great
cool.
synopsis. It is
so
that.
Pierce Brosnan is rich and a man whore and steals stuff and doesn't give a shit, and then a lot.
Exactly. That's why
basically
it's
James
such
Bond.
a funny movie, is because it's like it's not even. There's nothing about it that's like. There's nothing to attach yourself to. it's so detached from all reality, but in like a James Bond, like the through line with James Bond is like it's based on like literary, like science fiction almost. Like he just can't be stopped. He's just the best of the best there ever was, and the best there ever will be. Bret Hart.
That's right, dude.
And this movie is just funny because it's the same guy, but it's like you're not James Bond. You're just trying to get off Rene Russo. It's just such a hilarious movie to watch, dude. I encourage you to watch that movie.
Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. The Thomas Crown Affair, another Grass Touchers wreck that you will not regret whatsoever.
You won't. You will not regret it. Yes, you will.
Maybe don't watch it with your mom. But,
No, don't watch it with your mom unless she likes seeing Rene Russo's breasts.
We'll close with this. Are you still rocking some crusty Razor mouse from 13 years ago, Jared?
What's that say right there?
Death Adder 2013, boy, put it in a museum already.
This is some adhesive that I used at one point to try and glue the side rubber grip thing on. That was like 2 years ago that fell off, dude. So yeah, this thing.
Well, I don't want to harsh your vibe, but I saw an article today that was like, hey, in case you need a spare mouse, this Razer Death Adder is $23.
Oh my gosh.
I'm sending this to Jared immediately.
That's like the exact mouse that I have, dude.
Yeah, it's just a new one. It's
but
not
why
like
would I
different.
need it? Because mine.
Because you can't ping
works.
in half of our games because your middle mouse button doesn't click.
It's going to take so long to retrain myself to use my middle mouse button again. Dude, that's a great idea. I'm going to leave that link up.
Yeah, just throwing it out there for you. $23. I mean, come on.
$23.
Probably arrives, yesterday with Mutu in the van just rolling up to your house.
Right. Dr. Jones. It's Dr. Jones.
Dude, I had an Amazon delivery driver sitting in the driveway of our shop for like 10 minutes. I'm just standing there looking at their van, waiting for them to get out so I can get the freaking package out. And finally, they just go to pull out, and I throw my arms in the air. I'm like, "What are you doing?" And then I just hear, "Randy," because that's the name on the box, my dad's name. Randy. I'm like, "What?" She's like, "Here, I got a package for you. Sorry, I didn't want to get out. I was afraid of the dog." I was like, "So you just weren't gonna deliver it? You're just gonna drive away?" Hilarious, dude. Got her fired.
Do you have some scary junkyard sandlot freaking dog running around that they were scared of?
We've got a dog that the only thing that's scary about her, first of all, she's a Chihuahua. The only thing that's scary about her is that she won't die. I don't think she can die. She eats the other dog's feces all day and refuses to die. And then the other dogs are not imposing. They're very stupid. Well, the biggest dog is very stupid and not imposing and locked in a yard. And then the other dog I had with me, and I made her stay in the shop. So there was no dog out. She just wasn't going to deliver the package. And yeah, like I said, I got her freaking fired, dude. I don't care. She told me, she's like, I've got 9 kids. I'm putting 3 of them through college. I said, good luck doing that without one of your 4 jobs. Rosa. Yeah. Idiots.
Hey man, somebody's got to hold these people accountable.
That's right.
Insane what they're doing.
That's right. You come into this country, you buy the gold card for $1 million, and you just deliver my packages. Just kidding, folks. It's all a big joke.
Oh my gosh. Well,
just
on
kidding.
that
She's
note,
dead. Jared killed her.
Yeah, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Also, she's dead now. We're joking. No, we would never do that. We just killed her. Man. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, happy episode 69 to you. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you follow us on Instagram and YouTube at 3GrassTouchers. Share the show around. Let us know what you think. Tell me what you think of the Bond trailer or the Witcher 4 stuff, and get at us in the comments and the DMs. We're open to it. Get out there. Don't you dare forget and touch some grass.